Hi, I'm Mary Jo Stoutberg, and I'm back with another one of my paintings from Hidden Hope. This painting I did in 2017. It's a lot larger than some of the others, so I turned my phone to have the landscape view. And at times I will probably be putting it up closer to the camera so that you can see some of the areas, the detail. I call this one Not My Bridge. And what's interesting about it is I did a video for a church I was attending a few years back. And it dealt with childhood sexual trauma, which is what my ministry has been about over the last 10-15 years, and wanting to reach out and help people and show them that you can discover hope in the midst of your journey, and that while you're healing you can have hope and know that things are not always going to be so dark. And I have mentioned my family in the past, and my mom and I, so close, and there's just this connection that was always there, of understanding, like a level of understanding. I understood her maybe better than anyone else. I didn't know why, but I think I kind of got her. I get it now. I think her life was just peppered with tons of trauma growing up. There's things that I know, and there's things I don't know. And her life was difficult. So she didn't grow up at a time when these things were discussed openly. You just bucked up and moved forward. And I think in a lot of ways, for the most part, she did a really good job of that. So as I was growing up in the home, there was always this tension. There was always this feeling that I had of needing to fix things, to make things safe and comfortable, mainly for her, because if she was comfortable, then the rest of us were comfortable. So I learned at a very early age to be extremely codependent, and to look at someone else's needs as greater than my own. And I carried that for years into adulthood, even after she passed away. And I was having some pretty intense counseling right around that time when she did die, and I started to really face some things. Other things were coming out in our family. My dad shared his story. He had had childhood sexual trauma as well. And it just caused me to want to go much deeper. And I really wanted to break away from the things that I felt were holding me back. Funny, here I am now, even, that was in 2005 or 6. Now it's 2021, and I'm still uncovering. There's a lot of stuff. But in 2017, I was working with a couple of ladies that were Christian counselors, and they had their own ministry that strictly deals with women who have had sexual trauma as a child, and how to overcome it, and how to get restoration and healing. And I was getting ready to do a presentation along with one of those ladies. She was a clinical counselor. She counsels young people as well as older folks, but I think she works mostly with young girls. And she came along with me and helped me when I gave this presentation about Hidden Hope. And when they were making the video for our church, the guy that did the video said, I had something specific I wanted him to do. Of course, I wanted to be in control what was going to be shown and how it was going to look and all that. I wasn't about to let somebody else decide that, right? But he had his own plans, and I went along with them because that was his job. He was employed by the church to do videos, and he was extremely creative and talented and really, really good at it. So I gave up my way of wanting this to happen, and he said, I want to come to your studio, which at that time I had a studio away from the home. He says, and I want to video you while you're working on your latest piece. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I leave and I get in my car and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't have anything that I'm working on at the moment. So I had this canvas, and it is a pretty good sized canvas, as you can see. I think it's like 2 feet by 3 feet. And it was blank. And I had it for quite a while. And I thought, well, no time like the present. Let's just jump in. He was going to be coming to the studio in about a week, so I started working on this. Again, absolutely no thoughts, no directions, no idea what I was going to do. I just started working with my spackling compound, my stenciling, my stamps, my implements, my found objects, a watch that was taken apart, old jewelry, chains. This is a knob that was on a drawer. Old pieces of letter that I found in a box that my mom had. She was part of a prayer team. Just a myriad of things. This particular, and I'm so sorry that this chain is making noise, but this was a brooch. This was my mom's brooch, and she loved roses and that color rose. This is just a mishmash of old buttons and a blind pull that was on some of the blinds that we had where I grew up. A water valve, and I implemented a piece of old jewelry. I think it was an earring, and it has all these crystals on it. And so I just put this whole thing together. And then I realized I had this interesting stamp that I had made probably 3 months prior to doing this piece. And it had a woman's face on it. And this woman, it was real obvious that she looked like she was probably from the 30s. She had that look. She had a butterfly underneath, and she looked like she was deep in thought. Well, my grandmother would have been about that age. Butterflies are very, very connected with my mom. After she passed away, there was a series of events with butterflies. I had written my mom a really a long note inside of a really pretty card that I found. She died and was buried on my birthday, and it was very close to Mother's Day. My mom's birthday was in 2 weeks, and her birthday almost always fell on Mother's Day or right around there. So I bought a card that had beautiful pictures of butterflies all over it. And I wrote a note to her that I could put in her casket. And I told her, I said, I think now you are out of your cocoon. You're finally free from all the pain, from all of the difficulties in life, from believing you're not worthy of God. You're with Him now. You have left your cocoon and you're a butterfly. Well, right as I was finishing writing that, our doorbell rang, and I received this beautiful planner from the people I worked with at the time, and in it had a really pretty felted and silk butterfly in it. I began crying immediately because I really believed God was saying to me, you're right. She's with me now. She's happy. She's in her glory. She has wings. And so I felt so good about that. And, we moved on. We went through the service, went through her funeral, the whole thing. Well, 10 years later, I found myself triggered in many ways, and the enemy wouldn't leave me alone. And I just continued to feel like I was responsible for why she didn't have some freedom. I felt I was the person that was supposed to save her when she was on earth, especially within the family. And I didn't think I did a very good job at it. And I was worried I was worried and worried and worried and scared that she died in fear, or that she died not saved, or whatever. I just felt like I failed my mom in a lot of ways. And I had many different folks and counselors share with me that she failed me as a mom more than I did as a daughter. That never sat well with me. She did the best she could, but what I had to come to terms with is I did the best I could. So as I was painting this and this was being revealed, and like I said, this is a brooch that my mother wore. This was a picture that reminds me of her mom. And I think what this is saying is that with the watch, it's traveling. It's like a time travel of my mother not receiving probably what she needed from her mother, but she did the best she could, and on and down the road. And it came to where it was finally time for someone to stop this madness of the enemy that was telling me lies, told my mother lies, and I'm sure my grandmother lies. And I believed God was saying to me, it was never your problems. Those were your mom's. She had to deal with those. You were the best daughter you could be. She knew you loved her. She loved you. And to let it go. Well, the interesting thing was, as I was sharing this with my counselor at the time, I told her about it. And I said, I think God was finally revealing to me that this was just not my bridge to cross. It was never my bridge. It was my mom's bridge. And maybe even my mom's bridge was her mom's bridge. It was like that generational thing. The cool thing is, when I was making this and I was using different implements, this was a pie pan, an old pie pan. And I think it was my grandmother's, to be honest, because it was in all my mom's stuff. And it was perfect for this shape. And then I also, did some things organically in here. There's old lace in here that had belonged to my grandmother. But when I put all this down, and even the colors, and then this piece of old, burlap almost, and the gears with the water gauge, somebody said, it looks like it's a bridge that's on the water, and this is moving forward. And so it just felt that God was telling me, move forward, let it go. Your mother had her issues to deal with. She dealt with them. She's with me now. You deal with yours. You will be with me one day. In the meantime, you need to move forward. You need to share what you've learned from me. Take the wisdom that I've been giving you with this work and your talent that I blessed you with. Put it down, create a picture that you can always look at and say, that's what that meant. It was never my bridge to cross. And when we take on others' problems and we believe we're their savior instead of Jesus being their savior, we decide we're going to carry their cross. And it isn't for us to do that. We can only deal with our own stuff, and we need to deal with it with Him first. We need to realize He's with us and loves us regardless. And then we need to step out and find the people that He has blessed to be counselors, people that are ahead of you, that have walked the road already, that have wisdom, and that are safe and that care about you, and they can help you find those answers. And that's what this represents, is, again, the healing journey, the movement, even water being cleansing. This world, we're on a time clock in this world, right? Everybody is going to check out one day. Nobody knows when. But the good news is we're going to check out of this world that gives us all this pain, and we're going to move on to a world that is everything good that we could ever dream of. And that is the hope that is hidden in all of these pieces. And so I pray and hope that this helped and encouraged you. And I just hope, and this is, by the way, this is Easter weekend that I'm sharing this and creating this video. And I've been watching The Chosen again because season 1 has been completed and they're getting ready to launch season 2 on Easter Sunday, and I can't wait to see it. But I just love the fact that there's a movie that I can watch right now at this time that helps me see Jesus in the flesh. Not that is exactly what he looks like. He's a representation, but it's a beautiful movie, and it is really, it's another piece that someone creative has made to reach people, to say there's hope. This is not where it ends, and I'm so grateful to that. So I just want to say thank you for sticking around. It's another long one, but it was needed. There's a lot to this piece. You can't just share this in 5 minutes. And I pray that it helped you in some way. And if you ever have any questions, give me a shout. Leave me a response on here. Click the like button, subscribe, whatever. But let me know if you have any questions about any of this stuff, whether you want to learn how to do this kind of work, if you just need someone to chat with about these issues, let me know. My ears are open and my shoulders are a pretty good size. So there have been many before me that have helped me, and that's why I'm here now. So just want to say I love y'all, and I thank you, and have a really wonderful, great day and Easter weekend. Take care.